Welcome to our team call. I'm so glad you're here. So good. Okay, so just a couple of quick, we always like to announce rank advancements, and we're so excited just this past week. So we had our newest consultant, Brianna Conroy. We're so proud of you. Yay for hitting consultant in the past week. Congrats, that's your first step. Sharing products with sharing the products that you love with two people at least. And Brianna, I know they just did a whole bunch. She's up in the Fargo area, and I know they had just an amazing weekend. I think she actually started 4 people this past weekend. So congrats to you, Brianna, on kicking off the money opportunity with Isagenix. So cool. And then I know that Alicia Freilich hit Crystal Manager. I don't see her on here yet, but we're going to say Crystal Manager, the first step of duplication. So you share, they share, helping other people create consultants. So exciting. And I know, again, a part of that Fargo team, they just had an amazing weekend. I don't think Tara Firkenhoff is on here. I know she had 5 enrollments. It's so fun to see you guys just spreading the love up in Fargo, North Dakota. So excited for you guys for that. And then so excited for you guys to be here on this call tonight with our new friend, Dwayne. And some of you met Dwayne at University in Action. Raise your hand if you did, if you were partnered with Dwayne or you spent some time with him. Yes, he was all over the room, I swear. And at the leadership meeting, the first section, I sat down next to him and he says his name is Dwayne Dyer. And I'm like, oh, like my book, like Wayne Dyer. So, seriously, the book is probably sitting up on my shelf.
In my bed.
But Dwayne Dyer, he himself, and if you want to check out his bio, it's really extensive, you guys. DwayneDyer.com. I'll put it in the chat. But Dwayne he's a graduate from BYU. And, business background, spent a lot of time in the industry in the early days working on the corporate side. And I'll let him kind of tell his story with that. But, he has network marketing experience since 1987 and in international operations and, really kicking off new companies. And then in 2002 is when he helped launch Zango, and Zango became Zija. And so he's been with Zija, the company that Isagenix is just now acquiring since 2002, which is the same year Isagenix started. So imagine being with and building and being in a very, he has built a very abundant, large organization, made a full-time family household income, for his family, which I know he'll talk about. But I'm just excited to have him come on tonight, and I'm going to have him talk a little about products, but also network marketing, his early experience with Isagenix. I just think, when we talk about shifting the belief needle in all the areas, he brings such a cool perspective. And when I reached out and asked him right away, his heart, he's like, yes, yeah, I'll be on. Tell me when. I would love to come be on. So, Dwayne, you have a whole bunch of friends here in the Isagenix community, and we're just pumped to have you on. So welcome.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you so much. We truly have felt an extreme amount of welcome from the Isagenix family. And I can't tell you how much that means to us, because sometimes you get into new organizations and there might be a bit of this or that. We haven't felt any of that. We felt extremely welcome. We're all working towards the exact same goals, and a rising tide really does raise all ships. And if we can work together, then let's do it. Let's all win and be successful. And so, I look at this beautiful group of people that are assembled here, and I just have to, it just honors me to know that you do these weekly calls and you have these team calls. And it's really says a lot to me about you, that you devote some of your time to pick up maybe that just one little bit of nugget of information that might help move your business forward. And so I really do sincerely congratulate everyone for being on this Zoom call, because I promise you there will be a nugget or two that you'll pick up, because how can we not when we're sharing our stories and our life experiences? And I'm going to take 31 years of network marketing and download it here in about 20 minutes. And it's going to be fun, and we're going to have a good time. And feel free to ask questions, because we'll get to that as well. And I just want to thank Allison. And Allison, I don't know your hubby. He's got to be your hubby sitting in the background there. So tell me his name and And how long you guys been married, and what your
Talk me up
family?
a
And I
little
know
bit.
everybody knows this, but I don't. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
talk
no,
me up. I
totally.
like this.
This is Jake. Jake and I have been married
hi,
10 years. He was with the kids this during UIA this time, but he's been himself three or four times.
4 times.
So totally seriously loves David Wood, has had many breakthroughs. We met in college, and he's, we have 3 young daughters, so he's like the ultimate girl dad these days. And now immediately turned into homeschooling girl dad. No. But now that the kids are home. But yeah, and he's a yellow just like Drew. So that'll give you a good, with the color code, he's a yellow. Yellows unite. I know they all like to find each other out in the crowd.
Oh, that's
I heard
fun. Well, Jake, it's good to meet you. I met your better half, Allison, there, and that's, again, it says a lot to me about you that you'd stay home with the girls and let Allison go and have that experience. And that's really super when you have a supporting spouse. That's awesome. A lot of times in the industry, we don't have supporting spouses. We have a lot of pressure. Sometimes a spouse wants to be successful, and she feels pressure from her husband or wife to do so. And I got to tell you my story here real quick, because I did have a supporting spouse, and it really does make a big difference if you do. And I got to give her credit and kudos where it's due, because I worked my way up through the corporate ladder, found myself vice president of Shackley Corporation. I thought I was going to retire there. That's a big time, 60-year-old, billion-dollar network marketing giant. And I was in sales and marketing and loving it and loving the distributors. But something had always haunted me. I had been 14 years in the corporate world, working my way up through the corporate ladder. And I was working with distributors who oftentimes were earning substantially more money than I was. I got to myself to about $20,000 a month with the benefits and the 2 corporate cars. I had a Mercedes and a Lexus, and I could get up in the morning and decide which one I wanted to drive or which one my family wanted to drive. I had a beautiful place in Pleasanton, California, but the one thing I didn't have, which I always was envy of distributors, was that time freedom to be able to work where they wanted, when they wanted, to be able to put in more or less hours, to have that freedom to really live their life on their terms. And I was always in that cubicle, always had to create the 1, 3, 5-year strategic plans. I enjoyed my work, I enjoyed the challenge, but I really envied that freedom. And where it really hit me, Allison, was one day after being years in the industry, being for several years in a row, we rented a power catamaran, 50-foot power catamaran in the British Virgin Islands. I loved to captain a boat like that. I was sitting on the top deck, and I was doing a call at 1 o'clock in the morning, and we were on a conference call with Australia. And I remember this gentle breeze that was coming through, and it was beautiful, and everybody on the boat was asleep but me, and I was up on the top trying to make too much noise and still have cellular reception. And it hit me that this was the life I wanted to live. I wanted to be able to work on a 50-foot power catamaran in the British Virgin Islands or anywhere in the world, but do it on my own terms. And so my goal was just to make $240,000 a year. That was my goal. And I figured if I could do that, then I'd be successful. It was just to earn back the money I was making in the corporate world. And I got to tell you, after 3 months, 2002, we literally sold everything we had. We tried to sell our home, but the market was really bad. Enron had laid off a ton of employees, and it just was a mess. And so we couldn't have a garage sale outside because we were in a gated community and people had to come in. This was mid 2002, when we decided that we were going to do this, be a distributor full time and just jump into this new opportunity. And so we resigned from our work. We had the garage sale, but people had to come in our home and carry everything out like ants. And we ended up with 2 small U-Haul trucks. And I don't know if I shared this story in beautiful Minnesota, but we had, at the end of the 2 trucks, the furniture was in one truck, my wife and 4 children, and I was in the other truck with 2 dogs. And as we drove across America to be right next to the corporate offices in Utah, which I felt was going to be important because I wanted to make sure that we were going to be successful. And I felt like I needed to be part of it. I really thought this is how my life would end up if we ever got a divorce. My wife would end up with the kids, and I would end up with the 2 dogs. So we got to Utah. We rented this 2-bedroom, 1-bath little house with an unfinished basement. We put the 4 kids in the basement. They put their beds together so they could be a soccer football, field down there in the basement. We didn't really care what they did. It was unfinished. It just had concrete walls. And I always felt bad about that because I thought, man, they're going to catch some weird disease down here with this insulation and bare concrete. But it ends up, years later, they told us that that was the most favorite house that they ever had because they could treat it like a rental and we didn't care. They were playing football on the beds. But, after 3 months of working our shirt off, we got our check to about $800 a month. I know we can't make income claims, but I was really getting frustrated, and I really thought, man, I've got to make a difference here, and I've really got to make this work. And I got very assertive in the business, and I really started working referrals and really, let people know I want them to be on my team. And they would say, well, and I'd say, no, you don't understand. I really need you on my team. I got to make this work. And after another 3 or 4 months, after about 6 months, we got the check to about $1,700 a month. And I'm used to making about $20,000 a month. And so I'm thinking, man, I'm really going in the hole here and we got to change things around. And my wife, she hadn't had a job in a long time, she actually went out to work and created enough income where we could at least eat and pay the rent. And I still stayed with it. And after about a year, we got our check to about $8,000 or $9,000 a month. And I thought, well, this is better. But still, I had looked at all the money I had lost, and I thought, I've got to make a change. We've got to do something. And so I found that I really started to treat it more like a business. I became very assertive with people, and I said, we need to make this work. And after about 18 months, a year and a half, I got the check to about $17,000 a month. And I know a lot of people would be happy with $17,000 a month, but not when you're used to making more and you're making your own health insurance and your car, everything that I had benefits before I didn't have. And so kept at it, kept working. I'm going to talk about 12 things specifically that we did that really kind of changed it for us. I'm going to talk about that. But after 25 months, we got our income to surpass that $20,000 a month. And I realized we didn't need to stop there. The very same things that we were doing, we could continue to do. And we ended up doubling and then doubling again our income on a monthly basis. And we actually began earning well into 6 figures a month. And I thought, it's not that we did anything different. We just got better at what we did. I like that saying that says, that the task itself doesn't become any easier. It's just that our ability to perform the task becomes easier because we get a little better at it. To quote people like Jim Rohn and others, this is a truism. Where do you start? Jim Rohn would say you pick up a rock and throw it, and where it lands is kind of where you start. He is being facetious, of course, but the point is that we could start literally with almost anyone. And I almost wanted to write a book that said, just point me to an unemployment line and let me pick out someone and let me work with them for a few months and see if I can't have them earning much more than they would earn standing that unemployment line. And so, we recognized a few things, and I'm going to just go through a few pointers here, and hopefully there will be a nugget or two that you'll pick out here. So yeah. I call this, my 12 steps to success, or 12, there's a lot of steps. There's 1,000 steps to success to reach that pinnacle. But I think there's 12 real milestones. The first one, I know you've heard it before, but it's really understanding and defining why you want to do the business. What's your why? I know people have talked about that. And I simply say this: I should be able to point to you and say, Drew, Allison, Rocky, Jason, I'm going to scroll here. Becca, Mary, Barbie, Jennifer, Lisa, Rebecca, Michelle, Ariana, Holly, Gretchen, Emily. Wow, look at all these people on here. I should be able to point to you and say, could you tell me in just 2 minutes really what your why is? Why do you really want to do this business? Is it just to make a little extra money for a family vacation, or put children through a better school, or to take care of parents? Or is it to upgrade the vehicle you're driving, or maybe you want that time freedom. In all the years I've been doing this, I've discovered there's really 4 reasons why somebody will get involved in a business like this. One, they want to make more money. I get it. You know, that's a common one, especially I think with people who know that they have more potential inside them than what they're currently earning, but they have a desire to increase their personal income. A second reason is it's not so much the income, but it's about helping people, being of service, wanting to really get involved in the health and wellness industry and finding a way to learn more that they can take better care of parents, children, loved ones, family, or even themselves. They got a health issue. Maybe it's a weight management issue, or maybe it's an ache and pain issue, or maybe it's something they were born with, a chronic issue, or maybe it's somebody they know and they love. But somewhere, somehow, they want to educate themselves and find and align themselves with a company that has products and services that will bless people's lives. And I run into people like this, especially in our industry at Zija, and it aligns well with Isogenics, where people are really interested in just helping people. And if they can earn extra money along the way, that's an added plus bonus to it. Third reason is they need a change in their lives. I have a really good friend. In fact, he was with us in Phoenix. He drove over from Tucson. He's a plastic surgeon. Plastic surgeon makes a lot of money, but he was tired of doing plastic surgery. He'd been sued a few times. He was a bicycle racer and had a tremendous crash on his bicycle. And Dr. Armando de Guzman said, you know, I've got to find a way of earning a supplemental income that I can do while I'm practicing medicine that maybe could change my life. And that's what he did. He found network marketing. He found that he could replace his income as a plastic surgeon as a network marketing professional. And that he's been able to do. And his wife, Patricia, now works with him by his side. And they were both at the meeting in Gilbert, Arizona this weekend. And another individual I think of is Dr. Carl Anderson. He's a dentist and he's in Minnesota. He's a great man and he supports a very, very great orphanage in Africa. This orphanage is unique in that all the children are blind and they have to have equipment to learn how to read Braille so they can have a meaningful life and be able to provide a service and actually receive compensation after they leave the orphanage. And so he's constantly looking for ways of supporting his orphanage in Africa. Well, that's rough when you're a dentist and you have to be in your practice in order to make money. And he said, I had to find a way of leveraging my time and be able to make money while I'm not in the office. And so that led him to network marketing. And he created a very successful network marketing business. And that allowed him to support his orphanage in Africa, which he does to this day. In fact, when I was in Minnesota, I was inquiring about him and I found out he was in Africa at the orphanage. And so I tip my hat to men and women like this who are doing this to serve others, but they need a way of freeing up their time. And so they need some of that time freedom or a change. And of course, the last one, the fourth one was my why, which is simply time freedom, or maybe you want to fire your boss. I sometimes will say that in meetings, who wants to fire their boss? And somebody will say, they'll raise their hand and I'll say, man, I hope your boss isn't in the room, you know, because that'd be an awkward situation. But there are people who want to fire their boss. They just need to change. They want to get out of the rut that they're in. And this can certainly be an avenue for that. So you got to know what your why is. And I spent more time on that than any of the other 11 that I'm going to talk about, because that really is critical. If your why is big enough, you find the how and you find the passion to do it. And when you are discouraged or when times don't go well, if you just keep coming back to your why, it really does give you the motivation. The second thing is you got to take action, even when it's scary, even when you don't want to, even when that phone is an 80-pound weight. When I sign up a new person, people say to me, what do you expect a new person to do? And I say, I don't expect them to do a thing. That's what they were doing before. Why should I expect it to be any different? I can't sign or sponsor someone. And we could talk for an hour just on the word sponsorship, which is a great old religious 13th century term that had to do with baptism, where you actually were in charge of someone's salvation, if you will. That's the literal meaning of the word sponsor. But when you sponsor someone, you really are, committing yourself to helping them. And so when I sponsor someone, I don't expect them to do anything except one thing, and that's be a bringer. Just bring people to me, or bring them to Allison, or bring them to Rocky, or bring them to Jake, or bring them to someone who knows more than what they know about the business. Because if they bring them to me, I'm going to edify Allison. I'm going to say, Allison felt so much love and support for you that she wants you on your team, and she's bringing you to me so that we can spend 15, 30 minutes together, 45 minutes to talk about the dynamic products that we have and the business opportunity that we have, or whatever their why is that I can focus on. And that will create way more productivity and success with a new person than if I just expect them to join and sponsor other people. It just doesn't work that way. You're not going to be very successful if you treat it that way. Third point is to create an attitude of self-reliance. You have to realize that when people leave our industry, if they complete exit surveys, they're going to say the number one reason why they're leaving is lack of upline support. My upline just didn't help me. I didn't get enough support from my upline. And I say to them, you know, have a spirit of self-reliance. No one's going to do this for you except you, but you have to be the resource. So when you sponsor someone and they know that they're connected to you, I'm going to connect them to everyone in my organization that's above me as well. So I'm going to get them a support line, if you will, an umbilical cord, if you will, for a new person. Somebody's going to be a life line for them, and I'm going to introduce them to them. So I'm going to introduce them to their upline so they feel comfortable. If I'm not available, Allison's available. If she's not available, Jake's available. And so she feels comfortable with working with the team, and let them know that we really are a team, and now I'm committed to helping them. That's the beauty of our industry. When you go to work for an organization, you're going to work to help them be successful. But when you sponsor someone, the whole organization goes to work for them to help ensure their success. That's what makes our industry so magnificent, so different from other organizations. But you have to have that attitude that you're going to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. No one's going to do this for you but you. Have that attitude, and then reach out for your sponsor. But you have to have that attitude of self-reliance. 4, make health a priority. We're in the health and wellness industry. Immerse yourself now in learning everything you can about health. We have a tremendous support system with Dr. Josh Plant. He is amazing. He was with us at Zija. Before Dr. Plant, we had our medical professionals at Zengo. I've always been blessed to be able to work with great medical professionals, and we have those at Isogenics. We have tremendous, so plug yourself in to the calls that are being made, the product education that's going on. You don't have to be a product expert on the ingredients. That was covered very well in Minnesota, and I echo that same response. I don't know how it works, but let me tell you what it did for me. I don't know all the bases of the body, but I'll tell you, let me share with you what this product did to my 17-year-old son. He had this, and when he took this, he was made well, and it was amazing, and I'll never live a day without it. It was so successful for us. So make health and learning about health and sharing health a priority. I will tell you, we could be doing a lot of things, and everybody on this call could be involved in a lot of different businesses. We could be selling automobiles. We could be, doing this or that, but we're not. We're in the health and wellness business. And I will tell you, it will serve you very well. It will bless your life, the life of your family, the life of your extended relatives, just in the fact that you are immersing yourself in health and wellness. So make health a priority and learn about health. Number 5, communicate effectively. And on my phone right here, I have at least 10 communication apps, and I use every single one of them on a daily basis. So WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Zoom calls, WeChat, Skype, email, internet, messages, Messenger, mail, Gmail. That's on the first page. I go to the second page, and there's more apps on here. Every app, communication app, will serve a purpose. We are in the communication business. When I tell my team, when someone leaves you a voicemail message, you call them back within 24 hours. Nothing makes me more frustrated than if I leave a voicemail for someone and they don't contact me back. I will tell you, I've been so impressed with the management at Isogenics. Travis Ogden, if I send him a note, he responds back to me almost immediately. And I can't tell you how good that makes us feel when we know that we have that level of support. So learn to communicate effectively. We could spend an hour just on each one of these, and I don't want to go too overtime here. We just have a few more minutes. So
yeah, you're doing great.
We may have some questions here too. I hope this is helpful for you.
Yeah.
I'm kind of brain dumping as like Harry Potter. You just take the wand and dip it into the bowl, and you know, like I said, there's going to be some tidbits of nuggets here, but I'm telling you, I've done this business long enough to know how to be successful at it and how to help others be successful at it. So I'm just going quickly here, sharing a few things for you. You've heard this before, but write out your next immediate goal. Don't look at the top achievement level. Too many times we get caught up on the fact that, yeah, we're raw, we're going to be, what's our top level? You know, crystal executive. I don't know our Isogenics terms too well yet, but, you know, look at what you need to be next. What's the next rank that you are needing to be? If it's manager, what do you need to be manager? If it's director, what do you need to be director? If it's executive, what do you need to be executive? So you get dialed in on exactly what you need to be and then work backwards from that goal. If it's this level, then what do you need in order to hit that next level? Don't shoot beyond that. Just go to the next level. Write it down and write your plan backwards from that goal. Number 7, avoid time wasters. I tell people you're allowed 1 or 2 good series on TV a week. If it's Pole Dark, or if it's Yellowstone, or if it's whatever it is, The Voice, I think, is on tonight. You're allowed that 1 hour, maybe 2. But beyond that, you're really not. There's no PV and TV, as what was said in Minnesota. David expounded on this, which is true. If you want to have a full-time income, don't expect to have part-time effort towards it. If it's a few $100s extra a month you want to earn, that's okay. Then spend a few hours a week getting there. But if it's $10,000, $20,000 a month that you're looking at earning or more, don't expect to do that on 1 or 2 hours a week. You're going to have to put in the time and the energy and effort in order to make it work. It's the law of the harvest. It's simply the law of the harvest. You have to do the work in order to get the result. It's the same true in network marketing. The difference, of course, is that you can learn to leverage your time. And when you begin to leverage yourself, then you begin to expand that opportunity into more growth than what you ever imagined. You're getting paid again and again on a one-time sell, if you will. And that's very powerful. We could talk for an hour just on why leveraging is so important. Plan your work and work your plan. One of the things that we did when we first got going is we had weekly team meetings, similar to this, but we had it typically on an early morning of at the start of the week. And some of my team had jobs, and so they couldn't, you know, I quit my job. I had to. I didn't have any recourse because it was a competitor I would be working with. And so for me, I had a little more time flexibility, but we met very early in the morning before the day started. And what we did is we planned our week, and then we worked our plan. We looked at, you know, some basic things, and we could talk, you know, again, spend an hour just on how to get people to advance or how to get people more involved on Zoom calls or whatever. That's another subject for another time. But basically, work with your group, create that plan, and then work that plan on a weekly basis. Number 9, stay very, very focused. Don't get distracted. There's a lot of opportunities out there. People are going to start coming at you from other companies. The grass may look greener. They may say you're making this more. I'm telling you right now, there's no finer opportunity than what's right here at Isogenics. I say that because I've met Jim and Kathy Coover. I've met Eric. I've met and know Travis Ogden. I've met Sharon Walsh. I've met Mac. These individuals have the distributor best interest at heart. And a company that does that will always be successful. They're in it for the right reason. They're in it for the long term. You could not ask for a better opportunity than what we have right here at Isogenics. So stay very focused on the opportunity that you have. Number 10, put in the hours. We talked about that. Number 11, learn to network. By networking, I mean really learn that if someone says no to you, you simply say to them, I understand this may not be the right time for you. I really wanted you on my team, Allison, I thought you'd be perfect for this, and I got to tell you, I really want to work with you. But this time is not right. I understand. I'm obviously letting Allison go, and she's going to want to come back to me because of that. I'm not going to beg her. I don't need to. I know the opportunity that I have here, and I know how much I could bless Allison's life if she would join me in this effort. But at this time isn't right for her. But who is it right for? Allison, who do you know that might be blessed by our products or might need a financial opportunity? Who do you know? And then follow up on that lead. I've never bought a lead in my life, and I've sponsored hundreds of people literally off of leads and referrals that I've received from people that have said no to me. So network. It's the business that we're in. And finally, number 12, keep that dream alive. Don't let your dream get crushed by others. Dream crushers are everywhere. They're jealous. It's like the crabs in the bucket. As soon as they start you being successful, they want to pull you down. Don't let that happen. Keep your dreams alive. Share your dreams with your support line. Let them know what your dreams are, and then keep those dreams alive. So 31 years of networking in 30 minutes. That's about as fast as I can go, Allison. So
oh my God.
That's what I've learned. And if you'll apply those, you'll be successful. I know you will. There's nothing that'll stop you. You just have to get better at learning how to do those 12 things and doing it exactly what you're doing by being in meetings like this and learning from people who have gone before and have done it and are continuing to do it.
Yeah, that is amazing. And what I love about it is, you're just coming into Isagenix, but so much of that aligns with, it's the industry is so consistent. The success across the industry is so consistent. It's so cool to hear everything that you said, especially the power of the three-way calls and, the belief in the company. I would love for you to just spend just a minute even of just your early experience. Just when we were sitting in the bar after UIA or the Saturday night, you said to me, there is nothing like this in the world. Like what we are experiencing from a training standpoint, what they're setting us up for $199, you said there's nothing like it quite in the world. Like, speak on that just for a minute about, what it is that we really have.
Yeah, it is true, Allison. There really is. I've been in the industry a long time, 14 years corporate, 17 years as a distributor. I've attended hundreds of events. I've never missed an event. I've never missed a major event, knock on wood. And when I heard about UIA, I said I wanted to be there. I wanted to see it. I wanted to know what their training program's like. So I bought an airline ticket, made hotel reservations, jumped on a plane, went up to Minnesota. And I'd never experienced anything like that. I've gone through a lot of training. I've seen training events. But what David Wood does is he's able to educate. I called him. He let me speak a little bit in Phoenix at the event for a few minutes. And when I got up there on the front of the room, I compared him to the male Mary Poppins. I said, he's got this magic bag, and he continues to pull out these tremendous bits of wisdom in the industry, but he makes the medicine go down in such a humorous and fun way that the time just flies by. I thought, how on earth can we train from 9 in the morning to 8 at night and do that for a couple of days in a row? And I suddenly realized that he is as much entertaining as he is an educator, and he really is quite a unique individual. And Isagenix has a powerful team by involving him, but I realized that this is the spirit of the whole team at Isagenix. They really are having a good, fun time helping the distributors learn how to be successful, and then learning that and knowing that as the distributors are successful, they'll be successful as an organization. And it's very different from, say, a company that is publicly driven, or, you could tell that Isagenix has an ESOP plan. We were on a top 50 income earners call today with Sharon and Travis and Jim and Kathy Coover, and they were saying how it is an employee-owned company, and how the employees, even though they were staying home because of this, this craziness we have going on right now with the isolation and the coronavirus, how Travis was saying how much they're involved, and they're asking, what can we do to help from home? Because they own the company, and they want the company to be successful, and how unique an organization that is. So my compliments to each one of you. I wanted to stand in Minnesota if I had been given the microphone. Sometimes you dread the mic and sometimes you crave it. And I was actually for a period of time craving the mic because I wanted to ask how many people there in that room in Isogenics, there's 300 or 400 people in the room, how many that was this their first opportunity that they've ever been, the first organization they've ever come into. And I was going to see by a raise of hands, there was going to be a number of hands there, and I was going to tell them, I wasn't going to use the word hate, Allison, because that's a strong word, but I was going, and it was, frowned upon there at the meeting. It was actually eliminated, I guess, at the meeting. But I was going to say, I really dislike you because you haven't paid your dues in a company outside of Isogenics, so you could really see what it's like to be involved in a company that's not like Isogenics. And it's very different. The culture is very, very different.
Yeah.
And you could feel it and you could see it. So I was going to compliment those who have found Isogenics as their first MLM company. I got to tell you, you're blessed. You've done something right to be part of a great organization.
That is so cool. And it never, it's important for people to hear because, yeah, pretty much people on this call, I think almost everyone, it's their first company. That's, I'm just looking through the people on the call and yeah, I mean, pretty much some dabbling here and there, but yeah, it's so fun. It's so fun to hear from someone like you with all the different, experiences of that. And then I know that some people on here are just dying to hear a little bit about two of the products, the two that you, briefly what you love about them. It was announced, Travis Ogden on a call said the Zango juice and the Super Mix will for sure be coming over because they're iconic. They're already known, their names, it'll be Zango juice by Isogenics, Super Mix by Isogenics, because they're already, so, I mean, just tell us, I would just love for them to be able to hear. And, he said probably around the April timeframe. I don't know if that's changing with current world events, but, what do you love about those two things? I know
I'll spend just a couple of minutes, and I know we're a little over time, but I appreciate the opportunity to talk just to two of my favorite products. I will tell you the Zango inventory, Travis said today, is very low, and they're scrambling to produce more. And it doesn't surprise me because when you study the mangosteen fruit and you see what a jewel of a fruit this really is and how powerful it is, just go to pubmed.gov or even PubMed, like Public Medical Library, pubmed.com. Both of those will take you to the government website and just type in the word mangosteen or the word xanthones. And that's where we got the name Zango. It actually came from taking the word xanthones, which is a Greek word, which simply means yellow. There was a French chemist in the 17th century that actually found this chemical. We call it a plant chemical, or we would call it a phytonutrient in the industry. And he simply found that there was a very stable molecule that you could boil it, you could freeze it. It's called a double bonded molecular structure that can't be destroyed in the boiling or freezing process. It's a very stable compound. And it's so interesting that the only fruit in the world that contains any concentrate of these xanthones is the mangosteen fruit. You find one xanthone in aloe vera, you find one xanthone in a tree bark, you find one xanthone. But in the little mangosteen fruit, about the size of a big plum or a tangerine, with a hard shell, it's only grown in Southeast Asia. We cannot import the fruit into the United States for the same reason why I live or grew up, raised my two brothers, my two sisters, or families, my parents, all lived in Southern California. I'm the only black sheep now that lives up in Utah. But I cannot bring Utah fruit into California. You say, why? We have these beautiful peaches, apples, pears that we grow here. But we cannot bring them to California because California protects this billion-dollar industry between, if any of those have been in Southern California, if you get on the I-5 and you drive up through Los Angeles up to Sacramento, you're going to pass through farmland, which feeds those 7 million people that live in the LA Metroplex. Well, they cannot jeopardize that. And so I get stopped in a little agricultural inspection station right below Las Vegas, and they'll say, do you have any fresh fruit? And if I do, they take it. What they do with that, I have no idea. They probably eat it. But we have some of those beautiful apples and peaches, but we can't take them to California. You cannot bring the mangosteen fruit into California or the United States because of this very reason. It's grown like it's grown for hundreds of years. It grows without spray. It grows in these huge orchards through Southeast Asia. So Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, places like that grow the mangosteen. So what's so significant about xanthones? It's a very powerful antiviral, antibiotic that they use naturally, and they've used it for hundreds of years. Queen Victoria in 1855 declared it her favorite fruit, and so it became known as the queen of fruit. It's been used in Japanese pharmaceutical preparations. Zango juice contains mostly mangosteen, flavored by other very powerful antioxidant products like blueberry, strawberry, raspberry, and a few other flavorings that kind of sweeten the taste a little bit. It's not bitter, it's not sweet. It's very palatable, especially if you serve it in you cool it like you would in the refrigerator and then serve it in about a 3-ounce glass. What you're getting is a very powerful antioxidant that's very strong, antiviral, antibacterial. The strength of the product itself, Allison, stems from the fact that it has extremely stable sales. When we brought it into Zija, they didn't create a category tab. We had to search for it, and it's under the ripstick line. Why on earth is it in a ripstick? I don't know. It's a beef of mine. You can't even find it. For a long time, they didn't make it available to Zija distributors. It was only available to Zango distributors. You think that would have killed off the product. They never advertised it. They never promoted it. And you know what? Sales did not diminish one bit. It is sold over and over and over because people have very strong testimonials of the product. And so it's a very exciting product, I feel, that's coming in. And I hope it doesn't come too soon into Isogenics because it's in very low inventory supply right now because obviously the events that are going on in the world, people are searching for powerful antiviral, antibacterial agents. And this happens to be one. So do your homework, pubmed.gov, research xanthones, look at the scientific studies, look at the antiviral studies. You'll understand why this product is so stable and why it's selling so well.
That's awesome. And we definitely have some people on here who are going to be geeking out over PubMed.
Yeah, seriously.
Awesome.
If you love to read 16-syllable words, but I know Dr. Plant was very impressed with it. We have medical experts that have been very impressed with it. We had many medical doctors that are in Zango that use the product. And we can talk about that later, the things that they're using it for. But that I encourage you to do your own research and your own study, and then offline we can talk about it more on some of the powerful effects. Now, Super Mix was new to me. We were acquired, Zija bought the Zango organization, and the word Zango was just taken, as I mentioned, from xanthones from mangosteen. They put those words together. Zija was derived almost the same way, which is interesting. It was an Indian Sanskrit word that meant to hold on to the branch. And it turns out that there's this tree or big bush, if you will, that grows prolifically throughout India. And it's also in the Philippines. I've seen it in other places in the world. It's in Mexico, and I saw it in South America, where they take a tree branch and a tree leaf, and they actually make a palatable drink out of it. It took them 100 different experiments to figure that out. And you say, well, what's the significance of that? If you take your phone and you say to your phone, okay, Google, or Siri, whatever you're using, Cirrus, I use Google. What is the most nutritional plant in the world? I mean, do this with your phone and just see what it says to you. It'll come back and it'll say, Moringa oleifera is generally known to be the most nutritional plant in the world. Why? Because it has more natural vitamins and minerals than any other plant. Are you guys doing it? You did it with your phone? Okay, Google, what's the most nutritional plant in the world? Lisa, what does it say? She's muted. It'll come up and it'll say Moringa Aloe Vera.
There we go. Yeah, moringa, all sorts of stuff. Yep.
Yeah. And that's pretty easy to do. I mean, you're with somebody, you say, okay, go, what's the most nutritional plant in the world? And then read why. Because it contains more natural vitamins and minerals than any other plant known. So there you go. You get all your natural vitamins and minerals through one little sachet. And you could mix it to your shake. You could mix it, you know, you can mix it with water. I've never found the taste. To me, I have to mix it. So if you mix it with a little Zija juice, I think it's beautiful. Then you get all your vitamins and minerals, and you get all your powerful antioxidants. And so you can truly build a tremendous organization, especially when people are extra on alert right now about health and nutrition. This is a great opportunity to share with people what powerful products that we have that can help with these challenges that we're experiencing today. So I would say, you know, do your homework, do your research on Moringa oleifera. Okay, Google, what's the most nutritional plant in the world? And just do a little homework there. Go to pubmed.gov, read about Moringa oleifera, and then you'll say, man, I don't want to live without this product. This is amazing. So there it is, Allison. I mean, that's as simple as it is in a nutshell, but really, the fact that the products sell so well and so stable, and the fact that they do so with very little support from the corporate, other than, of course, the great support of manufacturing it, says a lot to me about the efficacy of the product and how it blesses people's lives.
Yeah, I mean, the facts are there. That's just awesome. I mean, I love it's fact-based, testimonial-based. I think we're all going to learn so much about this as we go. And what a cool, you know, I know you guys are having such amazing results with the Isogenics products. And so we're just like, I can't wait to get our hands on, because it's like, that's one of the it factors with this whole company is the products work and the products deliver real results that last. So I am so thankful for you for providing that information. Y'all got a little insider scoop on that. You can go, I'm not sure how many across the company have heard a ton about, you know, all of this that we can go research yet. So we're so pumped for that. So yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, Allison, I think all this is coming together with new packaging and new announcements and new programs at Celebration. That's the plan, is to bring all this together under one name, one family, and to really have opportunities to run with these. So we're really looking forward to that. And let's, of course, all hope and pray that we are in a situation we can all be in Salt Lake City together in July.
Yes, we're planning on it. So yes, another good quick moment. If you don't have your Celebration ticket yet, get your ticket. And yeah, I mean, I know we're definitely over time, but I know having, you know, Dwayne here tonight is just, I mean, so big for us, so wonderful. You have a ton of support and friends here on this team, and, you know, anything that we can do to help your team feel more integrated into the company, please tell us along the way. And, you know, he lives in Utah, so how awesome. We'll be visiting actually his home state in July. So I don't know if anyone has any real quick questions. We could, you know, just see if there's anything burning from anyone at all. Otherwise, we can kind of wrap it up too.
What does a Zango juice taste like if you're to compare it to something?
That would be like trying to explain to me what apple juice tastes like or pear juice. It has its own unique flavor. It's very palatable. I think it's delicious, especially if you serve it. And if you really want to treat, if you have any chocolate protein powder and you mix a little bit of Zango juice with it, it's like eating a chocolate covered strawberry. It is the most delicious experiences you'll ever have. And so that's a little hint there. If you just add, and the recommended amount is 3 ounces, which is about the size of a normal shot glass. I normally had a shot glass here, but it looks like it got put away somewhere. But anyway, just a little 3-ounce shot glass once a day, unless you're looking for some sort of acute response where you feel like you should take a little bit more. The maximum amount, you can't over dilute with it. It'd be like eating too much fruit. you'll probably have that same moving experience because it is a fruit, and it will, provide a extra trip to the toilet or two if you drink too much. But normally, if you're drinking 3 to 9 ounces a day, that's exactly what your body will like to have. So what does it taste like? It's not bitter, it's not sweet. It has its own flavor. So you'll have to try it. Let me know what you think.
Yeah. Sounds kind of berry-like. If it's some
It's
sort of
berry.
in the berry family is what I'm hearing.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Cool. Any other anything? You got a lot of good chat, a lot of good just people excited, pumped to hear from you in the chat. So
Well, thanks everyone, and especially Allison. Thank you for inviting me on the call. Jake, nice to meet you. You got a great supporting spouse there. I absolutely love it. So thanks for having me on, and I really look forward to meeting everyone. Come up and say hi. We're at an event. It was really great for me to come to Minnesota and meet everybody there. That was the highlight of my experience, to be honest with you, is to meet the caliber of people that at Isogenics. That's really my very first event that I've attended of any significance with Isogenic leaders. So that was fun.
awesome. Yes, kudos to all of you for showing up and for sticking around for some added time tonight. We appreciate you, Dwayne, and we will look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks, Jake. Thanks, Allison.
Stay healthy, everyone. Stay healthy.